Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Sharon, and Des to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three! Take three!
Bane for three. Bingo!
Desmond Bane
Heating it up. Blocked by Sharon!
most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off. Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Anticipate each challenge, make a quick response, capitalize on every opportunity, and win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis produces the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. Hope you're enjoying the snow. It looks pretty. Pretty down there. Either way, I hope you didn't attach your happiness to whether or not the Grizz jumped the Rockets in the Western Conference standings last night. Because if you did, probably went to bed disappointing. If so, my condolences. Fun game. Fun game. Bad result. Talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Jessica Benson is going to join me. She, of course, is the host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, weekdays, 8 a.m., Grind City Media. She joins me on Friday in the second segment. Today is Friday. After the first segment, that's when we get the second one. Jessica Benson going to be here in about 20 minutes. When I finish talking to her, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Notre Dame beat Penn State to advance to the title game of the first ever 12-team college football playoff. Congrats to Marcus Freeman. Awesome story. We'll dive into that in about 40 minutes. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck is expected to enter the transfer portal after leading the Bulldogs to the SEC title. That's an interesting situation. Sign of the times. Tell you more about that a little later on in the show. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are under fire for their performance at President Carter's funeral yesterday. I'll try to make sense of this controversy. We'll do that in the third segment. Penny Hardaway's Tigers going to return to the court this weekend. East Carolina going to be inside FedEx Forum on Saturday. I'll preview that for you. We'll do that in the second hour. And wildfires continue to ravage California. More than 400,000 people are now under evacuation orders. Lakers coach J.J. Redick is among those who has lost his home. We'll spend a few minutes on that awful story during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout. We'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 38 of a scheduled 82 was played last night in downtown Memphis. As I'm certain you know by now, you probably heard, it did not go well. Final score, Rockets 119, Grizz 115. Memphis allowed Houston to score 45 points in the first quarter and take a 17-point lead. Did it ever eventually get close? Yeah, it eventually got close, but with 9:06 left in the fourth, John Morant went to the bench, and then with 6:30 left in the fourth, Jaren Jackson Jr. went to the bench, and those are not criticisms, to be clear. They're just facts. So from the 6:30 mark of the fourth quarter to the 3:29 mark of the fourth quarter, the Grizzlies play without their two best players, while Houston more or less used its starters. When Jaren left the game, after Ja had already left the game, the Grizz were down 5 points. Is 110-105 with like 6:30 left. By the time the Grizzlies got both of the team's best players back on the court, Grizz were down 6 points, 115-109, and there was only 3:29 remaining. In other words, in a big game between the teams slotted second and third in the Western Conference standings, the Grizzlies played basically 3 of the final 6.5 minutes without their top two players, even though the Rockets more or less were using their best players on the court. Why? That's the question most Grizzlies fans seem to be asking last night. Question most Grizzlies fans seem to be asking this morning. Big Bet Bennett, you were in the Bennett. Do you have a great answer for the audience?
Not really. I mean, DeMichael Cole asked Taylor Jenkins about it post game, and he said that it's guys coming back from injury and more or less managing guys' minutes that are coming back from injury, which I guess I get that. You want to be careful with your best players that are coming back from injury, but at the same time, like you said, they're playing all their best players down the stretch of that game. I don't know if the Grizzlies would have won or not if they would have left John Jaren in or at least brought them back with more time left on the clock in the fourth quarter, but I'd like to think they would have. It was a tight game down the stretch. So, it is what it is. I think for me, GP, like the biggest concern after last night is they just, and again, this is just a fact, their record is not great against the top teams in the West when they have all their best players. It's just not. It's under 500. So, I don't know. Again, they haven't had this whole group together for a long stretch of games, pretty much this entire season. So could that change with having this entire group together for multiple games in a row going forward? I'd like to hope so, yeah.
You said something there that I think is worth repeating and highlighting and putting in bold. You said, I get it. I echo that. I get it. I think anybody who follows the franchise, who listens to Taylor Jenkins talk, who understands the NBA, gets it on some level, understands that the argument is load management, injury prevention, players coming back from injuries, so on and so forth. There's a million ways to say the exact same things, but it's all falls under those umbrellas. I get it. You get it. It's just that even if you get it, it still becomes frustrating for fans when they over and over again watch critical moments of a big game with the franchise's two biggest stars just standing at the scorer's table, just waiting to get in. And that was an unfortunate little stretch, by the way.
It was.
Even when Taylor Jenkins actually sent John Jaren to the table to check back into the game, he couldn't get him in, didn't want to burn a timeout.
That's right.
Couldn't get a stoppage in play. So if you think it was a bad decision to not get them back in earlier, I get it. But just know that was also mixed with some bad luck. They could not get the game to stop so they could get them back in earlier. Either way, Bennett, we can both say we get what the Grizzlies are doing, and we can both say we get that it's frustrating for some fans. When you see folks popping off the way they were popping off last night in social media, and maybe you didn't see it because you were working as opposed to me, I was sitting here watching a game on an iPad and just sort of following it on social media. But when you see people popping off, is it warranted? Do you understand it? Would you tell them, shut up, you're being a stupid fan for wanting your starters to play as many minutes as the other team's starters? Or would you say, no, I understand your frustration?
No, I understand the frustration. I do. I was even saying, to the people up at radio last night, like, oh, we got to get them back in the game. Like, we got to get them back in the game.
Yeah, and here's the issue. Like, we can all say we get it, but, like, let's all be honest with ourselves. What were you saying last night in the fourth quarter when they weren't in the game? What were you thinking to yourself?
Yeah, we got to get them in. We got to get them in. This thing's slipping. Yeah.
So even if we all get it, we're all sitting there watching this game. And, hey, by all measuring sticks, it's a big game. It's against the Rockets. It's against a franchise you're competing with for second place in the West. It's Dylan Brooks back inside FedEx Forum. This is the type of game. You've got national NBA people tweeting yesterday, and certainly once the game got good last night, saying this is the type of game that should be on national television. This is the type of game that the NBA would benefit from if more people could see it, if it were on ESPN or TNT. So it's a big game in the standings. It's a big game in the NBA universe. And you look up and their best players are on the court and your best players aren't. Like, I understand that. That's frustrating. I can understand why they're not, or I can understand why the minutes are what they are, why the rotations are what they are. But if I'm being completely honest with you, as much as I understand it, if I'm sitting here watching the game like I was last night, you know what I'm thinking the whole time that sequence is unfolding? I'm saying, geez, you got to get them back in the game. It's time to go. It's time to go. What are you waiting on? You got to get them back in the game. Like I was saying that even before they were sent to the scores table. And again, I know proponents of the other side of it would tell you it's mostly designed to hopefully make you fresh as can be for the playoffs and healthy as can be for the playoffs. And that's fine in theory, but this approach, it guarantees nothing. And what it kind of implies is that the franchises who aren't subscribing to this way of doing things, it suggests that they're not chasing the same things you're chasing. Like when you say things like, we're doing it this way for these long-term reasons, what it suggests is that if you're not doing it this way, you're not, operating with long-term reasons in mind, which is obviously not true. Like, don't you think the Celtics have long-term goals? Of course they do. But, all of their stars play more than the Grizzlies star. The Rockets, I'm certain, have long-term goals. But if you watch last night, every single Rockets starter played more minutes than any Grizzly starter. Just last night, Fred VanVleet, 41 minutes. Jalen Green, 38 minutes. Amin Thompson, 36 minutes. Dylan Brooks, 35 minutes. Alperen Sengun, 35 minutes. Those are Houston's 5 starters. No Memphis starter played more than 34. Why? That's what Grizzlies fans are asking. I know it's been answered a million times, but every time this happens, this is going to be a source of frustration. I know it's just one game in January, but Bennett, let me ask you, you watch every one of these. How many games can you remember that they've lost this season with either their best player or 2 best players on the sideline in a critical sequence in the fourth quarter of a game that could go either way? How many games do you remember them losing like that already?
A couple.
It's at least a couple.
Yeah.
It's definitely multiple if you want to count one as last night. If you want to count last night as one.
Yeah.
I bet you multiple Grizzlies fans can think of multiple. So, that's where the frustration comes into play. I'd get it if everybody, the reigning champs and the teams with the best records in the league, operated this way. But when they don't, it becomes harder for fans to understand. I also understand there's a tempo component to it, that the Grizzlies are playing faster than ever. And so, you play faster, you need more people to play that way. But here's the other deal. Okay, you played fast last night. And if you want to say that's among the reasons your starters' minutes, best players' minutes were down, well, then it didn't impact the other team. So playing fast limits your best players' minutes, but doesn't actually take the other team's best players off of the court, then is this a great example of hustling backwards, right? Your fast tempo didn't get Houston's best players off the court, just got yours, if that is, among the sources of the minutes distribution. So if Jaren Jackson Jr. played 34 minutes and Jalen Green did 2, cool. But Jaren played 34 and Jalen played 38. And Ja played 29 and Fred VanVleet played 41. Desmond Bane played 27 and Alperen Sengun played 35. Their best players played more than the Grizzlies' best players. And that is often true this season. And the fans who are paying attention seem to notice it every single time that it happens. Moving on from that, let me ask you, because the other source of frustration was the late timeout that Taylor called that came just before Dez let the 3 go that would have theoretically tied the game. You got an issue with that? Because I don't think I did as much as other people.
So I would say I think Taylor Jenkins would change his decision in that moment if he could go back and redo it. Everything's happening so fast right there. You want to get a good shot. I can understand wanting to get a good shot, but on the flip side, you got to realize that Ime Udoka is going to foul if you're up 3 there with limited time left on the clock. He's going to foul and put you at the free throw line and just try to end that game because you're just not going to have enough time left to get another possession. So I didn't have that much of a problem with it in real time. It obviously sucked because his 3 went in when Jenkins called the timeout, and so that makes it even worse. But yeah, I mean, I think if he could go back and redo that, he definitely would.
I agree. I think it was a mistake. He owned the mistake in the post game.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big believer in once you raise your hand and say my bad, I don't really have much else to say. Like, as long as if you know you messed up, I'm not compelled to tell you. So Taylor raised his hand, said he messed that up. I agree. But where I disconnect from the people I saw really fired up about this is the idea that shot went in. That the shot went in didn't make it a mistake. That you created a situation where they were going to immediately foul up 3 once you took the ball out of bounds. That was the mistake, as opposed to even getting a deep look, a contested look. At least you're getting a look from 3 if you don't call the timeout. Whether it goes in or not, you're at least getting a look. Once you call the timeout and allow Houston to get set, they're going to foul up 3, and you're going to get the unlikely scenario of having to do what you have to do, which they obviously could not do it. It was a lane violation on the play, for crying out loud. So I don't care that the shot went in as much as you decreased the likelihood of you actually sending this game to overtime the second that you called the timeout. Yeah. And Taylor seemed to understand that in the post game. He raised his hand and said it. A lot of people then connected the dots of, and the shot went in, so you cost us overtime. But if you go back and watch it, the timeout is called, the whistle is blown, Jalen Green stops playing.
Oh, okay. And then Dez just has a wide open 3.
It wasn't wide open.
It wasn't wide open, but he's a great shooter. Yeah.
He stopped contesting the way that he would have contested without the timeout, without the whistle blown. Like, go back, slow it down, watch it. Jalen Green sort of like is going to contest, whistle blows, and he kind of stops. It'd be like if you're going to contest a shot, but then you stop. He just sort of stopped. So Dez, because of the whistle, got a cleaner look than he otherwise would have gotten. And that's why I'm not all hung up on the shot went in. If that whistle never blows, that shot gets contested a different way. That shot might not go in.
Yeah.
The mistake is before that. It's just you had a 3-point attempt coming, good or not. You had a 3-point attempt coming from one of the best shooters in the world, and you took that away to draw up a play that was only going to lead to them fouling you and putting you in a situation where you got to make the first, miss the second, offensive rebound, stick back. I'd rather have a contested, deep, bad 3-point shot from Desmond Bane than that. And Taylor Jenkins seemed to understand that in the post-game press conference.
Yeah, I think too. And like you mentioned Dez, and a lot of people are talking about it in the chat, so I just want to bring it up. Like, he had 16 points last night. It was not a good game. Like, that was a lot of those came at the very end. A lot of those points. He did not have a good game. He was pretty much non-existent in the first half of that game last night. They got to find a way to get him going early. And he's got to look for his shot. I mean, I thought he passed up some opportunities in that first half. That I think that's like the key going forward for this team when everybody's healthy, is just finding a good balance to get the big 3 of Jod, Jaren, and Dez all going in the same game at the same time,
It's going to happen eventually, Big Bet Bennett. I think it's going to happen eventually. So last night didn't go the way any of us wanted, but big picture, things are still okay. 24-14, alone in 3rd in the Western Conference standings. But just to put a button on everything we've discussed, then we'll talk to Jessica Benson. Like, if you're a Grizzlies fan who's frustrated by the way that unfolded last night, I get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have the internet. You can go right now and look at the Boston Celtics. They're your reigning champs. They're your favorites to win the NBA title. So I'm assuming they're thinking long-term, big picture stuff as much as anybody. If not, they should be. And right now, Jason Tatum is averaging 36.4 minutes per game. Jaylen Brown is averaging 35.6 minutes per game. Derek White is averaging 34.3 minutes per game. No Grizzlies player is averaging more than 29. And last night, every Houston starter played more minutes than any Grizzlies starter. These are the types of things that fans get frustrated by, and I know there's an explanation for it every single time. But in cases like last night, it doesn't make it, for a lot of people, any less frustrating. Jessica Benson, she's up next.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Ring in the new year at Southland Casino Hotel to win your share of over $100,000 in free play, cash, or a 2025 Lexus. On New Year's Eve, we're turning up the energy with incredible entertainment. Dance the night away to the beats of DJ Epic, Jerome Chisholm and the M-Town Band, and an electrifying performance from Troy Laz. There's only one place to win when the clock strikes midnight, Southland Casino Hotel.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700. Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. We don't have snow like that up here. Bennett Doyle back inside the Bill Ford Tough studio in downtown Memphis. Jessica Benson, I don't know where she is, but I hope she's at least got an IFB in. Jessica Benson, it's GP. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Gary. I have an IFB in.
Okay, good. I didn't know whether you were in studio or not. I didn't know how that was going to work.
Oh,
exactly.
I sure am. I'm nice and cozy. Thanks for asking.
You look warm. You look cozy. I wish I had a coat like that. I'm the person who always says I won't be outside that much. I probably don't need a coat, and then I'm cold all the time.
That is true. I've talked myself out of buying like a really nice winter coat because I say I live in Memphis. I only need it. That's an investment I don't need to make. But then a day like this hits, and I sure wish I had one of those like down to the ground down coats.
Yeah.
This one's a little bomber. It's a little short, but it does the trick. Shout out Abercrombie. It's not a rental.
Shout out Abercrombie. You own that. You own your coat. Hey, it's really pretty. Do you enjoy the snow? Like, will you participate in it? Do you? Bennett texted me this morning and he said, "Hey, GP, I don't want you rambling a bunch of nonsense today. Let's get out of here at a decent time. I want to go play in the snow with my son." I said, "Of course, Bennett. I'll do my best." But I, if I'm being honest, I don't really like the snow that much. Do you like the snow?
I love the snow.
I like
do
to
love
look
the
at
snow.
it. I like to look at it. Like when I keep seeing those shots of FedEx Forum and downtown Memphis and all that snow. It's really pretty. I think I feel exactly like snow as I feel about sand. I like looking at both of them. I like to look at the ocean and sand. I like to look at snow, but I don't like to touch it or be around it. I just like to see it.
You're not Zach Brown Band? You don't want your toes in the sand?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I love my toes in the sand, and I do love being out in the snow. I just collaborated with a friend, inspired by we drafted things you do in the snow, and Roser really came through with one of the best drafts we've ever had. To be frank, number one pick for him was get drunk, and number two, get a frozen pizza. We're not going to get a frozen pizza, but we're going to walk ourselves down and support a local business. So we're going to take a walk in the snow, which I very much enjoy doing, and I hope that it's still snowing because I like for the snowflakes to be falling as I am frolicking in the snow. And we're going to walk to Aldo's and get a piece of pizza and maybe a nooner beer and enjoy this beautiful snow day and then walk home. And then I'll stay inside the rest of the day and like binge Traders or something.
Okay, well, see, you're more like me than you care to admit because you're not going to enjoy the snow that much. You're just going to look at it. You like to look at it.
I'm going out.
Just like I
I'm
like to look
enjoying
at
the
it.
snow, and then I'm also enjoying to look. I think I will. I love the snow.
You don't enjoy the snow unless you get buried in the snow. Are you going to get buried in the snow?
I hope I don't get buried in the snow. That would be a devastating start to the weekend. I have football to watch.
Are you going to build a snowman?
No, I think building snowmen is kind of overrated.
Is it sexist? Should we spend more time building snow women?
I mean,
interesting.
I actually thought my husband was going to have like a really nice feminist moment because he said, I don't believe in building snowmen. I build snow women. And I said, oh, that's so sweet, baby. And he goes, yeah, I just put boobs on them. And I was like, oh, great. Okay.
I'm going to build a snow woman today. I'm going to build a snow woman today.
Well, you don't have to make her voluptuous. Like she could just be.
Your husband is not a feminist. He just enjoys building snow boobs.
He just likes boobs.
He just likes boobs. That's it. He's not a feminist.
Damn it. I had him pegged wrong this whole time.
He just likes ice cold boobies.
That's, what can you do?
What can you do?
I think growing up, I'm here and I see so many people like Bennett and other Memphians get so excited about the snow, but I've been excited about the snow my whole life. Like growing up in a place in Colorado where it snows excessively more than it snows here, there was always just something very special about snow days. Now, we never got snow days. Like we used to joke that the superintendent of our school district had to drive a Hummer back in the late 90s, early 2000s because we never even got a delay. And I have had people reach out to me because I made a joke that being a student of Douglas County School District in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, prepared me to go into a career where you don't have snow days because we always went to school. I remember one year they canceled prom early because there was supposed to be this big blizzard, and that's the time they decided to proactively cancel something, and then it didn't snow. So we canceled prom for nothing. Like, what a joke. Or delayed prom for nothing.
You got to experience your prom, though, at least.
I did, thank God. Actually, yes, I did.
Thank God? Do you have great prom memories? Do you look back on the prom?
Not particularly.
When you're growing up, you have an idea of prom of it's supposed to be the greatest thing ever, and then you actually experience, and I was like, whatever. I don't remember caring that much.
No, and it's funny because now that I'm thinking about it, I was supposed to miss prom on the original scheduled day because it was Final Four weekend. And so I made the decision I was going to go to the Final Four instead of go to prom. And then they delayed prom, so then I got to go to the Final Four and a prom. And by that point, like I didn't have a date. I went with a group of girls and guys together that year, and it was fine. I have no specific memories from that prom. Senior prom, I guess, was a little bit better, but I don't reflect glowingly on any prom.
I don't really. Yeah, I went to one prom. I had a torn ACL. I literally went to prom in a wheelchair. I went to prom in a wheelchair.
Well, that might impact your memories of the prom.
I barely remember that prom.
You liked prom?
I did. I actually found the pictures recently of prom. Yeah.
I look like Snooki.
Yeah,
I have a horrible spray tan, and I had
that was at that time. Yeah.
Bump it on my head. That's just really unfortunate. Love the dress. Wish I still had it.
I was in a wheelchair. I went to one prom in a wheelchair, and then I went to another prom, and then I was the guy one year because my high school girlfriend was younger than me. I was the college freshman that came back to prom. Was that bad?
That's cringe.
Yes,
that's a little cringe.
Go back to me feeling bad for you being in a wheelchair. Stop telling me you returned in college to a prom.
It was my girlfriend's prom. What was I supposed to do? Tell her, no, I can't go because I'm 1 year older than you. I can't go.
Sorry, I've got things to do that weekend.
I can remember going
So
back
can
to
I.
I can remember going back to the high school parking lot like when I was a freshman in college, and even in that moment I was like, wow, you're creepy.
I can
Like,
remember
you're-
at our
yeah.
after prom party, one of the girls had a college boyfriend, and he came to the after prom party, and it just I remember just feeling
vibes
like
were off.
Yeah, it ruined the vibes. Like, stop it! You live a whole different life now.
I didn't know it
You're a
was like
gross
that.
old man.
I mean, I know I'm a gross old man now. I didn't know it when I was 19. I thought at 19 I was fine.
Yeah, life sneaks up at you fast.
Don't tell me. Jess, you don't have to tell me about that. Hey, let me ask you a question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh no.
When the Grizzlies lose at home to the Rockets last night, and every Rocket starter plays more minutes than any Grizzly starter, and I can't even really pay attention to the end of a football game because my X-Pro on my iPad is being bombarded by Grizzlies fans, very, very frustrated. Is the frustration warranted?
Call me crazy. My frustration rested far heavier with the turnovers than the minutes distribution yesterday. And I think all conversations are fair, but as long as the Grizzlies are turning the ball over 20 times a game, like, this doesn't get better. You're going to be in a situation like they are right now where they have turned it over 20 or more times in 3 of their last 4 games, and they have lost those 3 games. And so then you can add the layers of their difficulty dealing with more physical teams like the Rockets, having decisions, seeing John Jaren standing at the scorer's table late in the game. And Taylor Jenkins, I thought, took appropriate responsibility for everything in a very brief post-game press conference. But it was clear he was frustrated. It was clear he was owning up to the timeout and all that transpired last night against the Rockets. But the turnovers are my biggest concern because you can fix minutes distribution, but right now it does not feel like this team can fix its turnover problem. When you have Desmond Bane and John Morant combining for 8 turnovers, when they have a worse turnover to assist ratio than Jaren Jackson Jr., you are in trouble. That is not a winning formula.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, obviously the numbers are bad, but it's just
the feel.
They're just stupid.
The
turnovers.
timing of them, the stupidity of some of them, but now even worse, Gary, is the inevitable feeling of the turnovers. Like late in that game in the fourth quarter, there was one where Des just threw it away to no one. And going into that possession, I thought, they're probably going to turn the ball over. That's not a good place. When you're expecting turnovers, that's like when Steph Curry lines up to take a deep 3 and you have this incredible expectation. He's probably going to make this stupidly insane shot. Now the Grizzlies are probably inexplicably going to turn the ball over at some point, trying to come back and win this game. That's not good.
No. Circling back to Taylor taking responsibility, I know it was brief in the post game. I can both understand Grizzlies fans' frustration with not getting John Jaren back into the game more quickly. I also can acknowledge circumstances made that worse than it otherwise would have been. They were standing at the table for a while.
Yeah.
You didn't want to burn a timeout. You couldn't get a stoppage in play. Some of the reason they weren't in the game when they needed to be, or at least when some people think they needed to be, is because of a coaching decision. Another part of it is it was just unfortunate. You could not get the ball to stop so that you could get them back into the game.
Exactly. And I understand that it accumulates. This was a big storyline early in the season, and now Jaws missed the last 6 games, and so this is really, and Des missed the last game, and so this is one of a few opportunities you've had where your big 3 are all available. And listen, I get it because last night did feel excessively important. I remember talking just around the arena when we were trying to figure out who was playing last night, and the overarching narrative was, well, I sure hope all these guys are playing because this game does feel as if it means more. You're the number 2 and the number 3 team in the West. Going into last night, you're a half game behind the Rockets. You're going into this 4-game road trip against more Western Conference opponents, including the Rockets again. Do you want a chance at winning the season series against the Rockets? You should probably win that game. And so I was like, well, I hope they play. And then, sure, I would have loved for their minutes to be that of other stars in the league. But again, it does not matter if you are turning it over 20 times. It just doesn't.
They should stop doing that then, don't you think?
I really think they should. Yeah. I think that would be swell.
You know what I would do if I were them is I would stop turning it over so much.
Yeah, I would maybe put some sticky stuff on my hands. Just making sure, given the opportunity to stay as secure as possible. You got to do something.
Got to do something. In all seriousness, at the Final Four last year, UConn came out. And I actually did a hit on this on the practice show on that Friday before the Final Four on CBS Sports Network. They actually practice in like wide receiver gloves, like the sticky gloves. They do ball handling drills in these gloves. Like they've decided, I don't know whether it's just silly or effective, but they have decided that it helps with ball handling, and it's a drill that improves ball handling. So like, I know you're sort of goofing around, but like sticky stuff on your hands is something the back-to-back and reigning national champions have used to improve ball handling as recently as last season's Final Four.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
It's that simple.
It is that simple.
And it's just how everything transpired at the end, too. Like, Des makes that three. If he hadn't made that three and the timeout gets called, then you're like, oh, well, I'm glad they called the timeout. But it was funny. I was sitting next to Lang as it happened, and he goes, don't call a timeout, let it go. And then immediately, as it transpires, you're like, that's just crushing.
It's one of those where you feel like, and again, I'm always try to be understanding. These decisions have to be made in real time and in milliseconds. Now that's the job, so you got to do it right. But it is more challenging than it sometimes can appear. And I understand you feel like Dez is not about to get a good shot, so it's like, let's call it, set something up. Problem, of course, is in that situation, up 3, while you're setting up whatever it is you're going to try to get, when you inbound it, they're just going to foul immediately on touch. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to make one, miss one, offensive rebound, stick back. In other words, I think all the analytics would show you, and this is why Taylor stood up and said, I messed up, I made a mistake. All the analytics would tell you that you would rather have just about any three-point look from Desmond Bane in that situation, as opposed to a situation where he's going to have to go to the free throw line with less than 3 seconds to go, make one, miss the next, offensive rebound, stick back. Like whatever look Desmond Bane gets, even if it's a bad one, it is more likely to go in and get you to overtime than the sequence of stuff you would need to get you if they foul you after you inbound it.
Yeah. And like, I'm not trying to erase either. It would have been great to have John Jaron back in the game earlier than the 3.5 minute mark that they finally come in. And I remember even clocking when they went to the scorer's table. If the Grizzlies lose this game, this is going to be the moment that everybody points at why are they not back in the game at an earlier time than this. And even when he pulled Ja with 9:30 or so left in that fourth quarter, I found myself thinking, man, I wish Ja just played the whole fourth quarter. And coming back from injury, you want to be cautious, but if someone's good enough to play, and again, in a game as important as it was last night, I would have loved to see it. That said, Ja had turned it over like 2 of 4 possessions in a row at the start of the fourth quarter, and he missed a couple free throws. Like, it's not like he was playing a perfect game at that point either. And we had gone with the ins and outs of the emotions. Jaron had the travel and then getting called for the tech. I don't know. It was a mess of an ending for the Grizzlies. But if they don't turn it over 20 times, and if they don't let the Rockets score 45 points in the first quarter, we're having a very different conversation today.
Well, here's the good news. You get a chance to get back on the winning side of things. First in Minneapolis on Saturday night, and then in Houston on Monday night. So I'll plan on talking to you on Monday morning. We'll be looking back at Grizzlies Timberwolves, getting ready for another round of Grizz Rockets. Jess, I'm going to let you go play in the snow because Bennett's keeping me on schedule today. He said none of your nonsense, none of your stupid ass stories today,
But
GP.
I don't even have to walk dogs because the dog walkers, their jobs, they're home, so they can walk their own dogs.
Nice.
Walk your own dogs. You walk your own dogs. Hey, go have a beer and tell your husband I look forward to seeing pictures of his snow woman.
I'll let him know.
All right, tell him.
Bye.
All right, bye. I was going to tell you more things to tell your husband, and I figured I should just stop right there. I was going to design his snow woman for him, but I decided I should probably just stop.
This is what Bennett meant by shenanigans. This is exactly what Bennett was talking about.
Shenanigans. You're starting to get into shenanigans.
Go. Get out of here. Jessica Benson, she'll be in studio on Monday morning, and I'll talk to her from this exact seat on Monday morning. When we come back, college football playoff semifinal, game 1 last night, and it was a good one. Notre Dame and Penn State. I mean, Bennett lost again, but like the game was fun. We'll talk about it next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number 2.
Number 1 for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells of Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning into HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Sharon, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner? Take three! Take three!
Bane for three. Bingo! Desmond Bane
Heating it up.
blocked by Sharon.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in. And Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Notre Dame beat Penn State to advance to the title game of the first ever 12-team college football playoff. They're awaiting the winner of Ohio State and Texas. Big Bet Bennett, I know you had Penn State, so I know you were a loser. Once again, my condolences once again. But if you could put that over here, put that aside, fun football game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as much of a loser as Drew was on that interception that he threw, but dude, that sucked.
Dude,
I was
that
just
poor
like,
guy.
I know. I shouldn't have said that. That was mean. But
he'll never get over that.
He'll never get over that. I'll never get over it. That was a win turned into a loss, bro. I mean, come on.
It is in situations like that where I find myself just constantly feeling sick for people.
Yeah,
like that young man will never get over that.
And the thing is it's like you say everything like after the fact, but like I think I would have played for overtime there the way that game was playing out because like, dude, okay, you're not even throwing the ball. Like what? He had 23 attempts in the game, so it's like, man, why even throw no one's throwing the ball in this game. Like, why even risk it? It's so tight. Like, every possession is so critical. Every play is so critical in that game. I didn't understand that.
No,
I didn't understand that.
Most people didn't. I mean, it's a fair criticism. Like, if you've got Patrick Mahomes, let's go try to end this thing in regulation, right? You don't have Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You've got to you got the dude that threw the game away, like quite literally threw the game away.
Yeah, man.
And he owned it afterwards. And so, like, I'm not interested in piling on. I think if you got a heart, you shouldn't be interested in piling on. Like, I hope this young man is much stronger minded than I am, because I wouldn't be able to deal with that too well. That I'd carry that around, that failure.
For sure.
I'd carry that around pretty heavy with me for forever. I mean, I can still remember like striking out the end state tournament when I'm 12. Like, I'm the only person who remembers that. All right. I know nobody else in the world remembers that. It matters to nobody.
Your deepest, darkest memories.
It's not, I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but it's something I remember.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else remembers it. It is something I remember. So I would be totally ill-equipped to handle what this young man's now going to have to handle going through his life, replaying that moment. But the truth is, his coach put him in a bad position. Sometimes being a leader of young people is knowing what position to put them in and what position not to put them in. And James Franklin deciding to push it the way that they pushed it.
I agree.
He put his quarterback in a bad position.
The quarterback, you got to tell him, you got to do not throw that ball down the field.
Well, you put him in a bad position.
Yeah.
And then he made a bad throw, right? You put him in a position where if he then made a mistake, it could cost you perhaps a national championship. That's coaching failure. That was a mistake. But the young man also made a bad throw, and I hope he's more strong-minded than I am, because at his age, with all of those eyeballs, I'd really be struggling today. I hope he's got an incredible support system. Congrats to Marcus Freeman. Congrats to Notre Dame. Isn't it a wild story? Fun. Brian Kelly more or less leaves Notre Dame after coaching in a championship game, winning a ton. He wasn't in trouble there. It's not like they were about to fire him and he was running from it. He left Notre Dame because he genuinely thought you can't win a championship at Notre Dame. Like, that time is over. You can't. If I really ever want to hold the trophy at the end, a big one, I got to go to a place like LSU. Can't do it at Notre Dame anymore. And then here we are, 3 years later, and the guy that they promoted to replace you, the guy who used to work under you, is one win away from a national championship at the place you decided it couldn't be done. What's better than that?
No, that's pretty awesome. It is, like, I know, like, people probably roll their eyes, but it is kind of cool that we're going to get Notre Dame versus either Texas or Ohio State in the national championship. Like, that's a big national title game, whichever one comes out of this game tonight.
And will it be the two best teams in the title game? No, probably not.
Probably not.
But, buddy, it's going to be a huge number. Because do you know what works on television? It's not necessarily 1 versus 2, best versus best. You know what it is?
Brands.
Big brand against big brand. You could ask any of my bosses at CBS if they could go ahead and predict it and just pencil in the national championship game right now. You know what they'd say? Yeah, give me Kentucky and Duke. Well, those aren't the two best teams in the country. That'll be the two teams that draw the biggest number.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Kentucky and Duke.
Like even if Kentucky sucks, like, they're still going to have 1 million national TV games, right?
Even if Kentucky were unranked right now, and Mississippi State were ranked 5th in the country right now, and they were both playing a game tomorrow, and you told my bosses you could put either one of them on television. You could put either one on CBS tomorrow, unranked Kentucky, if Kentucky were unranked, or top 5 Mississippi State, if Mississippi State were in the top 5. They would take Kentucky every time. Every time. It's the big brands that matter. And having Notre Dame is maybe the biggest brand, if not certainly one of them. I mean, Notre Dame is so big of a brand that it can tell the ACC and the Big Ten and every other conference, we don't want you. Think about how powerful you are if you can do that.
Right.
In Memphis, in our market, we've been begging for a big conference to take us, to look at us, to flirt with us for decades, right? Please pick us. At Notre Dame, they could go to any conference they want to whenever they want to. They could do anything they wanted whenever they wanted. And they can, and yet they say, no, we don't want any of you.
Yeah.
We are so independent, so big, so powerful, such a big brand that we'd rather just do our NBC deal, stay independent, and operate this way. The whole world is trying to join you guys, and we're pushing you away. That's how big of a brand that is. So are they the best team? No. Will they win? Probably not. I think what most people would tell you is the winner of tonight's college football playoff semifinal between Ohio State and Texas is probably going to be your national champion. Who knows? That's why they play the games, but that is what most people think. But television executive, you can't do better than having Notre Dame in your national championship game in year one of the 12-team college football playoff, particularly Notre Dame that's got all these great stories connected to it.
Yep.
The young head coach who is, I know people get sometimes frustrated when stuff like this is brought up, but it's just a fact, and it is something that is being brought up. He has a chance to become the first black man to, win the college football playoff national championship. These types of things are still important. And so you've got real storylines attached to the Fighting Irish. It's obviously a massive brand. And, given that the former Notre Dame coach left Notre Dame because he didn't think this could happen, didn't think you could do this anymore. Where the sport was moving, this can't happen at Notre Dame. That's what the former Notre Dame coach thought. The current Notre Dame coach seems to be proving otherwise.
Number 2.
Meantime, Georgia quarterback Carson Beck reportedly is expected to enter the transfer portal after leading the Bulldogs to the SEC championship. Initially, he was going to enter the NFL draft, and that's what everybody assumed would be the deal. His college football career was over, but now he's going to enter the transfer portal, probably not going to be in the draft, and is basically up for sale now. And the argument is, once upon a time, you were considered the possible number 1 pick in the draft, like to go first overall. Coming into the season, some people thought that's who he was.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have that kind of season. Then he got hurt. He's not going to be able to throw until March, which means he's not going to be able to get much pre-draft stuff done. All the feedback from NFL franchises now is that if you were to stay in this draft, enter this draft, you'd probably be a 3rd-round pick, maybe even deeper. And if your options are that uncertainty, or enter the transfer portal, become the most desirable quarterback available, and shop yourself for what? $7 million, $8 million, $10 million? Like, why not just go back to school and do it this way?
Right.
See if you can recapture the draft hype that you once had. Maybe make $10 million playing college football next season, then enter the draft, then be the number 1 overall pick. I understand it completely. If NIL didn't exist, this probably doesn't happen. But with NIL, it's not crazy. That young man could say, I'll come play for anybody. Hey, Penn State, I saw what happened to you last night. You had a quarterback make a really bad throw, cost you the game. Just know I wouldn't make that throw. If you got $10 million, I'll come play quarterback for you next season. Just like that. This is where we're at. This is college athletics right now. So it kind of just a sign of the times. If my son were a big-time college football or college basketball player right now, this is the type of thing we'd be doing. For some of these players, lots of these players, the most money they're ever going to make playing sports, they're now making it in college. You'd be kind of crazy not to maximize it. Looks like Carson Beck going to try to maximize it. He's up for sale right now. Let the bidding get underway.
Number 3.
Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are under fire for their appearance at President Carter's funeral yesterday. Did you hear about this?
No.
They're under fire.
What's going on?
Oh, they really did it this time.
What? I respect Garth. I saw Garth here at FedEx Forum not too long ago.
I was there, Bennett.
Where are you? Yeah, he played like 6 shows or something.
By the way, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago at this point. yeah, I know. I act like it was like last year.
Yeah, you act like it was last year. Now, that was you're thinking of Fluffy.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. I'm probably thinking of Fluffy.
You're thinking of Fluffy. No, Garth Brooks was a long time ago. Fluffy was just last year.
Yeah.
They're under fire. They've done it this time. And I know what you might be thinking. Oh, I get it. How could you have an accused rapist playing at President Carter's funeral, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that story. I forgot about that.
Right? So, But no, that's not it. Nobody cares about that at all.
Okay.
That's not it at all.
Okay.
You thought that mattered?
I thought that was what it was.
No,
yeah.
nobody cares about that.
Okay.
Nobody cares about that. That's silly. The problem was they decided to perform John Lennon's Imagine at President Carter's funeral.
Oh, okay.
In a church. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. And now the internet, that part of it, is really upset because how could you go to a church and sing Imagine There's No Heaven? They're under fire.
I don't think it's that deep.
Folks are fired up, Bennett. I saw it on the internet.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like how like Born in the USA, like that's like people will play that song as like kind of like a patriotic song, but it's really like an anti-war song.
Yes,
it's got a
I know, the song's great. The way that song is used is awful, embarrassing.
Right.
I hate the way that song is used.
Right. Okay, fine, whatever. I just don't think people like really. It's a nice song. Like it sounds good, right?
It's just a nice song. Let's not get caught up on the specifics. It's a nice song. It's just a beautiful song. By the way, guess who wanted Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood to perform Imagine at the funeral?
Was it Jimmy?
Jimmy Carter, President Carter. This is something President Carter wanted.
Yeah.
I think if you get to be president of the United States and live to 100, if you want Garth Brooks to play Imagine, or like, a White Zombie song at your funeral, whatever President Carter wanted is fine with me.
That'd be sick.
If you play what White Zombie?
I want White
song?
Zombie to perform at my funeral.
Okay, what song? Because we could probably get that done at this
probably
point.
Supercharger Heaven.
I bet I could get Rob Zombie to your funeral for like $10,000, probably.
Dude, that would be sick. I would totally be down for that. I've seen Rob Zombie. I saw him at the Pyramid.
I saw him. I've seen Rob Zombie too. Stop bragging about how many times you've seen Rob Zombie. You ain't the only one who.
But I'm more of a White Zombie guy. I'm old school, buddy.
Well, what is White Zombie other than Rob Zombie's band?
Rob Zombie was just his solo career. Like, remember, Dragula, dig through the ditches and burn through. That was his solo career. White Zombie was like Astro Creep and
I like Astro
Supercharger
Creep.
Heaven. Yeah. That album.
That
album rips. God, play at my funeral, White Zombie. Get back together and play at my funeral.
Oh, somebody wanted to get out of here quickly up until White Zombie got brought up.
God, I cannot wait to blast that on the way home and run every red light in this snow. I'm fired up now.
If you die an untimely death, Bennett, today in the snow, if you perish in the snow today, and I'm not wishing for that. I want to be clear. I'm not wishing for that. But if you perish in the snow today, I will do everything I can to get White Zombie, or at the very least Rob Zombie, to perform at your funeral.
Yeah, I don't know if they're friends anymore. Probably just Rob, but that's cool. He plays White Zombie songs. It's all good.
Yeah,
he owns the catalog, bro.
He owns the catalog, bro. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, you act like you're a White Zombie expert.
I'm a White Zombie expert. I am a White Zombie expert.
You ain't the only one who grew up listening to bad music, Bennett. I've been to a White Zombie concert. I think I saw White Zombie at the Coliseum.
That's probably that checks. That probably makes sense. Yeah.
Along with there was the other band that was kind of it was like knockoff 9 Inch Nails.
Filter.
As
soon as you said that, I was like, that's what he's talking about.
This poor guy, there's a guy out there who like had hits and like created like real music and had a career, and we have reduced it to, I can just say knock off 9 Inch Nails and you know exactly who I'm talking about. Filter. I think I saw I don't think so.
White Zombie wouldn't play with Filter.
Somebody's going to have to look it up. Here's what I can tell you. There is no doubt in my mind I have been to a White Zombie concert in Memphis, and I have been to a Filter concert in Memphis.
Yeah.
The way I remember it is that it was Filter opening up for White Zombie.
That actually might make sense. That might make sense.
I think I saw Filter open up for White Zombie, and I think I saw that fella go, "Hey man, nice shot."
That's it. That was their one-hit wonder. That's like the only song they had.
They had another one.
Did they?
I think so. That song was about a fella blowing his brains out on TV. You know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
You ever seen that? That video?
No, this proves the point about the Garth Brooks thing. Performing Imagine at the okay, that song's about somebody blowing their brains out, but like that's not how anybody thinks of that song.
It's the way I think of that song.
Is it? Oh, people just are like, oh, that song's kind of cool. Like it's nobody thinks about the lyrics like that.
I do. You might not think about Filter lyrics, but I do. I still lay around sometimes just thinking about Filter lyrics.
Take a picture. The chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Take a Picture was like their massive hit. It was it wasn't a heavy song. It was like a slow. It was like it crossed over.
Filter. I'm gonna get Rob Zombie to play at your funeral, just like we got Garth Brooks to play it.
I love Rob Zombie.
I know you do. I can
maybe
see in
not
your
his
eyes.
solo music as much, but I love White Zombie and I love his movies. Like I'm a big fan. He's big horror guy, obviously.
I'm gonna work on this. Like, okay. I don't know if he lives out in California. He might be dealing with fires and stuff. So I would prefer you
Rob
not
Zombie
to
does not
Parrish.
live in California. There's no way. I'd be shocked.
There's no way Rob Zombie lives in California. Just like no way.
Salem.
The overwhelming majority of celebrities live in California, but there's no way Rob Zombie lives in California. That's what you're insisting.
Yeah, I just don't see him being a Cali guy. I do not see that at all.
You can't see that?
No.
Okay. I don't think I can get Garth Brooks at your funeral, but I think I could maybe get Rob Zombie.
Sweet.
I'd rather you not Parrish today, but if you do, I'll do what I can do to try to get Rob Zombie at your service. You're exactly right. President Carter wanted this song sung at his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Garth Brooks sung it. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
It's a sweet song. Like, if you don't get caught up on the specifics of Imagine There's No Heaven and get all irritated because somebody's saying Imagine There's No Heaven inside of a church, like it's a sweet song. It's a beautiful song.
I was going to say, I was surprised that they didn't get the Allman Brothers to perform because he's like that famous picture of Jimmy Carter with the Allman Brothers shirt on, but they're all dead, so that wouldn't have worked out.
Imagine it's just a call to peace, Bennett. It's just a call to peace.
Yeah.
It's just John Lennon saying, stop letting racism and nationalism and religion and materialism, stop letting these things divide us. That was the message President Carter wanted delivered at his service, I'm certain.
Mm-hmm.
So Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood delivered it. And people got fired up because of one little word in there. I say calm down. Hey, give me a break. If you think Garth Brooks was offensive at President Carter's funeral, wait till you see Rob Zombie at Bennett's. Buddy, if singing Imagine gets you worked up at a service, wait till you see Rob Zombie. What are we going to have Rob Zombie sing at your service? And then let's move on.
Supercharger Heaven.
Supercharger Heaven.
Yep.
Wait till you see Rob Zombie sing Supercharger Heaven at Bennett's service. If you were offended by Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood singing Imagine, you ain't going to have the stomach for this.
No.
Number 4.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers going to be back on the court this weekend. East Carolina's coming to town.
Yeah.
I hope they can get here.
They're here, I think. I think they're already here.
They better be.
Yeah.
They better be. Think they're going to have trouble tomorrow? They're a heavy underdog. It's a quad 4 opportunity.
Okay.
Quad 4.
So
be careful. Be careful, Bennett.
Here's what I'll say, because there was the quote from Penny this week talking about the South Florida game last season, where same situation. It was a home game. We had bad weather, bad snow, and ice, and people didn't come to the game. The university even said like you probably shouldn't get out and drive and come to this game. So there's nobody there, no real atmosphere, and the Tigers lose the game, and then the season like really slips after that. First off, this isn't that. Like, I think people will be able to drive probably and get downtown tomorrow. There's not really ice. It's just snow. Secondly, that South Florida team turned out to be not bad, right? Like, I think this East Carolina team they're playing is bad.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that they're bad. They're 174th at KenPom. They're 203rd in the net. That net number is what makes this quadrant 4. So, like, listen, with a crowd, without a crowd, if you're legitimately a top 20 team, this should be no problem for you.
Right.
You are projected to win the game 82-65 according to KenPom. That suggests you should be somewhere around a 17, 18-point favorite when the number posts later on today. So this is a game that you should win easily. There's a whole lot of ranked teams this weekend that are going to be playing games that are not games they should be able to win easily. Like there's a lot of ranked teams that got real tests this weekend. You're not one of them. That's the good news, I guess. The problem, of course, is that those other ranked teams that are playing quality opponents, they can take a loss and it not be the biggest deal in the world. If you slip up, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's a big deal. You know, you sitting here bragging about all your wins inside the first two quadrants, and then you got people like me coming back on Monday saying that's great.
Yeah.
And it is great. But now they got a quadrant 3 loss on the resume to Arkansas State and a quadrant 4 loss on the resume to East Carolina. That drags it all the way down and then gets you to a point where you go, okay, you can't have another one of them or else. And then you get another one of them, and now we're starting to have tough conversations, the type of conversations we don't want to have this season, type of conversations we started having to have just around this time last season. So big game in the sense that you can't lose it. People consistently look at games, big games, as games where if you win it, it really means something good for you. But big games can also work the opposite way. Like this isn't a big game because if you win it, it's going to, shoot you up the rankings.
Right.
But it's a big game because if you lose it, it will shoot you down the rankings and possibly all the way out of them. So got to go take care of business. East Carolina, Memphis, inside FedEx Forum tomorrow. If you're headed downtown, be careful. And you should be able to witness another victory that maintains the Tigers' national ranking when the AP poll updates on Monday.
Number 5.
It's still burning out in California, Bennett.
Yeah, man.
Man, I just sit here in this hotel all night long and just watch fires on TV.
Yeah, so I told you, like, my good friend who lives in L.A., they ended up having to evacuate, but they were able to go back to their home because they got one of the fires in that area under control. But he said that it's just apocalyptic there. I mean, he said that their house smells like smoke because the air is smoke out there. And he knows a ton of people who lost their homes. JB knows a ton of people that lost their homes. I mean, it's a bad situation out there right now.
Yeah, I had friends who live out there. We went to their wedding last year. They live in LA. The wedding was a little north of LA, but they had to evacuate, and they don't know if their house is going to be there when they go back, fingers crossed. JJ Redick, latest sports figure to say he lost his home. Just the images are crazy. Like, did you see Tom Hanks' house?
Yeah.
So it's just like, you're just lucky or you're not.
Yeah.
Tom
Anthony
Hanks'
Hopkins.
house,
I mean, there's multiple celebrities. Yeah.
Well, like Tom Hanks' house is fine. All right. Literally his neighbor, the house right above him, is gone. Neighbor's house gone. Your house fine. Just lucky. There's nothing more to it. And so, most of us, fortunately, will never have to deal with what they're dealing with right now. Most of us never have to start from scratch. Most of us never lose everything. And I know a lot of those people are wealthy people. You hear them like, that's $1 million home. Well, if you have $1 million home or a $3 million home, you're probably equipped to survive this and handle it, but than others. But that doesn't make it easy or fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much money you got, how famous you are. Like, these are hard times for you right now if you live in that area and are being impacted. And as for the people who aren't as fortunate even as those people, like the people whose insurance policies were canceled in recent months.
Right.
I mean, I know you touched on this the other day and we just sort of skated through it, but it's a totally fair point you're making. What we know, not to make light of it, and I know the whole world has, it's sort of become like a part of comedy routines, but what we know is that a young man was radicalized by frustration with capitalism and the way insurance companies were treating everyday Americans, and decided the way to make this point and get the conversation started was to put bullets in a guy's back just down the street from where I'm sitting right now. All right. Now you're going to start to hear all sorts of stories about people who had worked their whole lives and put everything they had into their homes. And 4 months ago, their home insurance policy was canceled. And now these fires have taken everything they got, and they have nowhere to go and no way to rebuild and nothing to their name. You're going to hear these stories.
Yep.
And then these insurance companies are going to have to answer. Like, how do you look yourself in the mirror doing this to people? You have ruined folks' lives. And we combine that with the internet and mental health stuff, and is it crazy to think you get another person out there saying, well, you know, if Luigi was willing to sacrifice his life for the greater good, to take a stand, to make a statement, maybe I should too. Like, I know we're just talking here, but like, that's none of what I just said is hard for me to imagine.
Right. No, it's those stories are terrible. I mean, come on. And I completely agree. Like, how can you look yourself in the mirror? Like, canceling those policies months before this happens. It's like you knew that it was coming.
It really, I mean, you know, Joe Rogan is a controversial figure. Some people love him and swear by him. Others, not so much. I don't consume his podcast. The only thing I ever see is if a clip happens to be shot into my timeline. But a clip was shot into my timeline yesterday of him talking to somebody within the past year and basically predicted this exactly.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, so like you can say, well, we never saw this coming, except, you know, somebody did.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, when 9/11 happens, people say, man, you couldn't see this coming, except like there's documents. Yeah, some people did see this coming. Some people quite literally saw a terrorist organization using planes to attack Americans. Like, yes, some people did see that coming. And this is the same type of thing, obviously different, but you get the point. Well, you could never see this coming. Yes, you could. Oh, pandemic. People saw that coming.
Right.
You know, all these things that you can never plan for, you can never see coming. Every time somebody saw it coming.
Somebody saw it, yeah.
Every time somebody was like, you know, this is going to happen and it could be bad. And so here we are now. But yeah, what we see is the celebrities, you know, the movie stars, the television stars, the entertainers, because they're the ones with the big social media platforms. They're the ones TMZ covers. They're the ones CNN and Fox are putting on television. And those people are suffering right now too. Yeah, they're probably staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel, you know, eating shrimp cocktails. It's all things considered, like, could be worse. But those people lost everything too.
Yeah.
It sucks. But the ones who are really, like the John Legends and the Chrissy Teigens, they're going to be able to figure it out. There are hundreds of thousands of people who are not going to be able to figure this out.
That's right.
And those are the ones that your heart just breaks for them. Absolutely breaks. Just devastating. It doesn't even look real. You know, I've spent a lot of time out in California, and a lot of those streets you're seeing, you know, I've been up and down those streets. I know those places, and they're just not there anymore. And if you've ever spent time in any part of the world, whether it's the coast in Florida or New Orleans or anywhere, Lower Manhattan before 9/11, when something that you're so used to seeing just suddenly isn't there anymore and just will never look the same again, it's jarring. It's weird.
It is.
It's unsettling. And now one of the real destination spots in our country, real destination spots in this world, it's not hyperbolic. It's not an exaggeration. It will never be the same. It can be great again, as they say, but it will never be the same.
Right.
Never be the same. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle's back in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. Snow falling everywhere. Hey, in all seriousness, enjoy it if you're the type of person who likes to enjoy snow. But also be careful out there. One of the last wrecks I had, I think the last wreck that was my fault that I'm willing to take responsibility for, it was because of snow and ice and stuff like this.
Yeah,
I just lost control of my vehicle.
I mean, it is slippery out there. Like, just to do a test, I've got a Jeep, and so like I tried it with and without 4-wheel drive, and like, dude, I mean, if you're driving on a car without 4-wheel drive out there, be careful. It's a little slippery out there.
Hey, be careful. Unless you got to go somewhere, maybe just stay at home, right?
Yeah, only people with 4-wheel drive are allowed to run red lights. That's the rule of the roads today.
Well, Bennett, let's not be out there running red lights, all right? Let's lead by example. Let's be safe. Let's look both ways. Let's stop when we're supposed to stop.
Yeah, I'm obviously kidding. Even though I don't. Well, I won't. I don't want to incriminate myself too much. But
Bennett, can we follow the law? Can we follow the law on this weekend?
It's
wild card weekend. Can we follow the law?
In my opinion, coming to a complete stop and then trying to get going again in the snow is more dangerous than just going real slow. You just want to go real slow.
Yeah, well, your opinion will get you a traffic citation.
You just want to go real slow. And
I understand.
And once that light hits, you just kind of give a little bit of gas.
I get it. I understand, but that will get you a traffic violation.
That's what they say.
Be careful out there, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't hit nothing. But if you die an untimely death, I will get Rob Zombie.
Thank you.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
To get him at your funeral. So really, I don't even care that much. I mean, I want you to live, but like if you die, we're gonna get a good story out of this. So.
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful out there. I'm about to go get out in it, though. Got me some sleds. I got me some sleds. Shout out Ace Hardware in East Memphis. Yep. They hooked it up. So they might. I don't know. They had a big shipment. If anybody's looking for them, they might still have some. I don't know. But we're going sledding.
Okay. Well, okay. Good luck. Good luck with your sledding today. All right. I'm going napping. You can go sledding. I'll go napping.
Okay, sounds good.
What are we doing? Let's wrap it up with GP's Carryout.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but you want to hit you with some breaking news?
Oh, God, what's going on?
Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles again.
What?
Earlier this week, when Watson reported to the cross-country mortgage campus for his exit physical as part of the Browns' season-ending process, he complained of discomfort after rolling his ankle in Miami. MRI results demonstrated a re-rupture to his Achilles tendon. Dr. Bob Anderson, a foot and ankle specialist in Charlotte, North Carolina, performed both surgeries. Watson's recovery time and return-to-play status is uncertain, and he will likely miss significant time in the 2025 season. So he ruptured his Achilles, had surgery, been rehabbing, went for a physical, said, man, it ain't feeling so great. They looked at it, found it's been re-ruptured, had to do the whole surgery again. Yucky.
We knew that there had been a setback. There was a report of that like maybe a week ago or something like that he had a setback. But a lot of people thought that this conspiracy theorists out there were just assuming that it's the Browns being like, hey, dude, you're never going to play again for this team. Like, just you're always going to be on the injury report. We're going to pay you, but, like, we're never going to actually play you in a game. But it appears it's real.
Back-to-back Achilles tears is rough,
Yeah, but, I don't think he'll ever play in the NFL again, just being honest.
I think I'm on record explaining that I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in karma. But if you did believe in karma, this might be one of those situations where you go, hey, karma. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I don't believe in karma. But if you believed in karma, this might be the type of situation where you would go, karma gets you every time. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
Hey, can I brag about my memory for a second?
What's going on? No, you were right. I know what you're going to say.
February 8th, 1996, at the Mid-South Coliseum, White Zombie, opening act, Filter.
I bet that concert was lit.
It was litty.
I bet that concert was cool. The Coliseum used to have some stuff back in the day, bro. The Coliseum, what an institution.
How jealous would you get to know? How jealous would you be if I informed you? What kind of FOMO would you have if I told you that on February 8th, 1996, I was standing on the floor at the Mid-South Coliseum and I saw Rob Zombie perform More Human Than Human and Supercharger Heaven back to back.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, dude. I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of that. Now, I saw him at the Pyramid with Ozzy, and he brought out like some big robot. Oh, let's go. You can't. Yeah, I don't think you can play that, GP. Turn that off.
That dude blew his own brains out on television, and then Filter wrote a song about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
John Roser's out there tweeting about Filter. John Roser's a Filter fan.
I saw him.
We should bring Filter back.
Shout out to the Spawn sound. Shout out to Spawn. That was a fun movie. I enjoyed it.
We should bring Filter back.
I bet they're doing something.
That song was in a movie. What movie was that song in? Is that what you're saying?
Spawn.
I don't remember it that way.
Spawn. Oh, it's probably that song, that Hey Man Nice Shot, that was in like every movie trailer in the late 90s, early 2000s in existence.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, shouts to Filter, shouts to White Zombie, shouts to the Mid-South Coliseum. I had a good time. I remember having a good time back on February 8, 1996.
Yeah.
I remember it was a Thursday. I remember it fondly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's today's biggest game?
College football playoff semifinal, game 2 tonight. Who joins Notre Dame in the championship game? It's the Ohio State Buckeyes against the Texas Longhorns. They're doing it at AT&T Stadium down in Arlington. Jerry World. Jerry Jones, star of Landman, streaming now on Paramount Plus. Ohio State's a 6-point favorite. Total's 53.5. Bennett Doyle, tonight, do we watch a man lose a college football playoff semifinal with a Manning sitting on the bench?
I'm going to say, what's the line again?
6.
Ohio State -6. Give me, God, I'm on a bad run, aren't I? I'm not doing too well.
I wish I would have met you.
Give me. I'll just take the Buckeyes. Isn't that safe? Isn't that
I would
safer?
have met you.
Should I take the Buckeyes? Should I take? I don't know what to do.
Hey, best thing I can tell you about the Buckeyes is they're not playing Michigan tonight. That's a
Exactly. See, that's the thing. They're amazing against everybody else.
As long as they don't have to play Michigan, they're pretty good.
I'll take Ohio State -6. That's fine.
Benson, he's laying the number with Ryan Day. He's got Ryan Day in the national championship game against Notre Dame. Ohio State -6. Kickoff tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Sometimes I forget where I'm at. You can watch it on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
We got a SmackDown tonight, 7 o'clock. It's the first SmackDown since the first Netflix edition of Raw. Did you see the numbers they did on Monday night?
They were big, weren't they? Yeah.
2.6 million people streamed Raw on Netflix. It's about 1 million more people than would normally watch a Monday Night Raw. So they did big numbers on Netflix. Now we're back to SmackDown. Does it feel like less now?
It does. I don't. It doesn't feel as big. It just doesn't. You know what? It's not even because of the Raw on Netflix thing. It's because it's on cable and not on network TV.
It just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel as big being on USA. We need to get. What's Prime Video doing? What's Paramount? What's Paramount Plus doing?
We're focused on Landman right now. We're focused on Landman right now.
Yeah, we need to get SmackDown but we need to get back to like the big stage. I feel like.
Okay, we got LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura tonight.
Oh God, I couldn't care less.
I hate LA Knight.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, well, I'm not watching.
It's Tiffy time.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's
what else?
A champion, Bennett. I don't know what else.
That's it. That's the card. That's what SmackDown's trying to come with after Raw just had like a historic night. Come on, man.
Bennett, let's give him a shot. All right, let's give him a shot. Let's not criticize him before we even get there. Let's give him a shot. Can't you find it in your heart to give him a shot?
By the way, we're close. They're coming. SmackDown's going to be here soon.
Do you have to tell me, baby? I'm going. I'm already locked and loaded and ready to go.
SmackDown's the first. Devin said it's the first show after the Royal Rumble. That is going to be lit. That's going to be fun.
You have to tell me.
I gotta quit saying. Why am I keep saying lit? That's embarrassing.
I don't know.
God, am I a freaking teenager?
Yeah,
it's lit, dude.
I wish I would have met you.
I could have been in filter. I think. Tell me if it sounds like I could have been in filter.
I wish I would have met you.
That was okay.
It's Tiffy time tonight. Everybody enjoys Tiffy time, don't they? Tiffy time tonight, USA Network, 7 o'clock.
What's the best thing we've read?
I updated the top 25 and 1 this morning on Rutgers. They lost again last night. They got 2 top 3 picks. They can't win a college basketball game. I've never seen nothing like it. And the reason I never seen nothing like it because there ain't never been nothing like it.
Right.
They're about to be the only team in the history of college basketball to miss the NCAA tournament with 2 top 5 picks on the roster. They're about to do it. They can't beat nobody. Got smacked around by Purdue last night in their home building. If you want to read about that, it's on the homepage right now, cbssports.com.
What's on tap next week?
Oh, man. I can't wait for next week.
Me either.
So on Monday, we'll be looking back at Grizz Timberwolves, getting ready for Grizz Rockets.
Big stretch.
Another round with the Rockets.
Big stretch of games.
With the Rockets.
Yeah, man. We got a big stretch coming up.
On Monday, we'll know who's in the college football championship game. Notre Dame, either joined by Ohio State or Texas. We'll get the answer to that question tonight. Look back at the NFL playoffs. Get ready for Vikings-Rams on Monday night. They're doing that in Arizona. Should be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it already. Let's go. Bennett, enjoy your snow.
Thanks, man. I will.
I'll enjoy it with you through FaceTime and Instagram.
Yeah. I'll post some pics.
I can't wait. Bennett, if there's one thing I can never wait on, it's more Instagram pictures from Bennett Doyle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. Enjoy your snow. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Everybody be careful out there. And let's meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hook.